In order to start with your first topics page, you need to be more familiar with the tools that you're going to use inside of it. So we are going to create a topics page in order to preview each of the tools available within one. Anytime you're creating a topics page, you're going to name it. You're going to provide a description of the unit or chapter or topic that you are covering. My favorite layout is this one because it provides kind of a more balanced space for your information. And then you want to choose a cover photo. This is just something you want to do every single time. And you might notice it's kind of taking a moment to upload, but if you wait, it'll show up. So I'm going to save this in order to show you the tools that are available. Now, over here, you're going to notice all of the tools laid out for you. It also goes back to the setup tools, so you can edit those things that we first established. But these are the layout tools within your topics page. If you want students to see everything you created that you see when you're on the main topics page, you can drag that content over here, making sure that you drag and drop. So the cover brief gives that kind of more narrative descriptive information. You can pull over the image, and then you could also include the title to make sure that you have all of that information. This is a discussion tool that I do not recommend including, because now, while you have the name of your topics page, the description that was on the front, and the model, the discussion allows students to post notes, and then you have something else that you need to monitor. So I don't recommend that, but it is something that exists. Now, I'm going to use an element here in order to create a horizontal line, and I often like using a spacer. And what this does, it is an element that creates some structure to your page. So I just wanted to separate the title and the description from the information I'm about to put below. So now the other tools that you have available include audio. So if you want to add a link to an audio file, I was downloading songs about the multiplication tables because I have a fourth grader. Now in here you can add a description, but in the case of this, the fact that I'm rickrolling my child to learn the 7 times table is enough information. But you can add a caption and even a transcript if you would like. One thing to note about the audio is that you have to click on it in order to play the song, and it does take you away from the topics page, and then you have to exit out of that. You also can include a download. I think it's really important to remember that not as many students have access to Microsoft Word or PowerPoints. That is not automatically included on computers. So I think making sure that if you're going to include a file, that then you are incorporating a PDF version of whatever the document is. In this case, it's a paragraph anchor chart. And you can also include a description. The thing we're going to use most frequently is links. Links allow you to build a connection to a website. It also allows you to connect to a Google Doc. So if I'm in my Google Docs, and say I want to connect to this 180 days of poetry, I'm copying the link. Now, I always want to make sure that students are able to navigate all of this really thoughtfully. So I'm going to skip over photos for now to incorporate text, because I'm going to label this as resources. And if I'm using text, I can press this button in order to expand this out to have more tools available to me. Say if I want to make the font bigger. So now when I preview this, I have the main topics page and then it's labeled as resources, so students know what they are taking a look at. I could also separate this of not just resources, but that then they also have readings. So now we can see that structure incorporated here to help students be just a little bit more organized. If you want to include photos more than just the cover image, there we go. I'm going to add in the anchor charts, and I want students to be able to download those. So I'm going to select my JPEGs. They then upload individually so you can label them. And that takes a moment to process, but when it is ready, you then have a little folder of images that students can then download. But it only shows the first one. It is important that you know what size the photos are, because I made sure to scale these to about like 5 inches, and now they upload in a manner that actually fits the page. Similarly to audio, I can also include a video. But this does need to be something that's already downloaded to your computer. Do I have any videos? No, I don't really think so. See, it doesn't let you do it if it's not an actual video. Oh wait, yes I do. So this is a debate final. And that will take a moment, but then it does enable you to give students access to videos that you have had downloaded onto your computer. Say if you recorded class, then, or a screen capture like I'm demonstrating here, that you could then post that for students to be able to see working through something online or demonstrating something in class as well. Now I'm just stalling for time. You can do it. I believe in you. All right, so that will need to process as well. Yeah, not as quick as the photos, but we'll give that a moment. And then finally, my favorite is embedding. Now, this is really effective for if you want to include a YouTube video, or probably more commonly if you're incorporating your notes. So say if I want to include the slides that I used for the 9th grade bridge, I'm going to go to File, Share, Publish to the Web, and I have an option to embed. Now I know that formatting wise, this looks best in a split page when it's these dimensions, but if I publish it, it then allows me to copy this HTML code And I can paste this here. I always do that. What's great about this is once you embed it, then you have access to it at all time. My only other recommendation here is the removal of the start to this time, because otherwise it forces your slides forward. So now when I preview the topic with all of these tools available, oh look there, now there's the link. I have the title of the topic, I have the description, I have the included image, I have text demonstrating resource and readings, I have an audio file, I have a download to a PDF, I have a link to a Google Doc, I have discussions, which I don't recommend, I have photos, I have a downloadable video, and then I have links to slides so that students don't actually have to download anything, and it updates automatically as you create slides. So these are all of the tools, including the elements, including lines and spaces to give your page more structure. So these are all of the tools that we have on a TowerNet topics page.